If I had already been pronounced dead by the doctor who was on duty, yet I was still smiling, it was actually a miracle. Let me ask you, who are your friends? Hi, I trust you're having an easy time today, and welcome back. It's nice to see you once again. And if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe. And for those who subscribed, thank you. I love stories. I love narratives. I love narrating stories, but most importantly, I love narrating my personal story. Let me just share with you a little bit about my most traumatizing moment in campus. And this is an experience that I will never forget in my life. I was in my second year and this happened 2.5 years ago. It was during the examinations time, and there is one evening that my friends had paid me a visit. And that evening I had prepared githeri. Yes, githeri. Since I was in Kikuyu land and githeri is one of their favorite dishes, so I had been assimilated into their culture. So I had prepared githeri. And we had taken githeri that evening, and so it was around 6:45. And my friends asked me to escort them because they were leaving and they were going somewhere. So I escorted them and came back to my house at around 7 p.m. And so now that I had an exam the next day, I took my book and took my piece of paper and started jotting down as I was revising. Then I'm this type of person that when I'm in the house, I put on loud music, then I sing along with the artist. But that was not that case that day. This day, there was blackout, so there was no electricity, so I was not in a position to put on music for me to listen. So as I was just revising in my small SQ, and I felt a little bit dizzy and felt like my head was a bit heavy and I felt some headache. Then I realized that the only remedy that I had was to take a pillow and put my head down for me to relax a bit. Little did I know that that was my demise. Can you imagine? I suffocated in my own house. So my neighbor, just my immediate neighbor, heard that I was not breathing properly, I was struggling to breathe. And she tried to knock the door, but I was not in a position to open. She went ahead and called my favorite friend, who is called Njoki. Njoki used to be my friend who used to sell me milk at our local shop. Njoki came and also tried to call me the way she used to call me, lady boss, open the door. But you see, I was not opening because I could not hear. I was still struggling to breathe. Njoki and my immediate neighbor now got so worried. They went ahead and called the other plotmates, and now they came trying to call me, but still I could not listen to them. So when they came, they decided to just break into the door and find me inside. When they broke into the door and they found me inside, the house was smoky and it was stuffy. The first thing they did was to carry the jiko outside, then also carry me to go and get some fresh air. They carried me, they tried to put me outside, but then I was still not gaining consciousness. They decided to take me to the hospital, the nearest hospital, and that was Jamii Hospital. I went to the hospital, and Njoki is the one who decided to sit with me that night, to stay with me at the hospital that night. And during that moment, I did not know what was happening, I was still unconscious. So nurses tried to give me first aid, but then nothing was happening. The nurses decided to call the doctor who was actually on duty that night. And when the doctor arrived, the doctor said, I was already dead. So you see, but Njoki tried to argue with the doctor and told the doctor she is not yet dead. Yvonne can't just die like that because she never has health problems. How can she just die like that? She was not completely convinced that I was dead. Njoki continued to argue with the doctor. The doctor just told one nurse to call the morgue attendant to take my body to the morgue. But you see, it happened fortunately, all the morgue attendants were a little bit busy, and so they were not in a position to carry me immediately to the morgue. So that night, Njoki just sat next to me on my left side, and I was there. I didn't know what was going on. Then it reached at around 2 a.m. now. Njoki was dozing next to me, and I was there. I don't know what is happening. I don't know what is actually going on. And so I then started gaining consciousness. That's why I asked myself, where am I? Then Njoki had me. When I looked on my left side, I saw Njoki. Njoki smiled at me and told me, "You are still alive. The doctor just pronounced you dead." I just laughed, smiled at her and asked her, what happened? She also asked me, what happened? The last thing that I could remember was myself when I was putting my head on my pillow in my small house. We had a long conversation after that Njoki was just smiling at me. Wait, I know you're really wondering, If I had already been pronounced dead by the doctor who was on duty, yet I was still smiling, it was actually a miracle. Let me ask you, who are your friends? Who are your neighbors? Who is your God? The most importantly, who is your God? Because it was just God works in miraculous ways. It was just a miracle that I was still alive. After there, we had a long conversation. And I'm sure you're really wondering what happened next. I also asked myself, what if I could have woken up and found my body next to dead bodies? Could I have died out of shock, out of surprise? But God had worked in miraculous ways to make sure the morgue attendant was a little bit busy. And up to date, that message, that experience still lingers on my mind. It's just how God works in miraculous ways. Make sure you have friends who believe in you. Make sure you have neighbors who also can help you. Make sure you praise and you pray to your living God to always guide and protect you.